So in this video, we're going to talk about some of the common mistakes that wide receivers will make with their route running that will lead to poor separation. And then we're going to talk about drills to work on those exact mistakes. So first mistake that receivers will make is that at the top of the break, they sink their hips instead of having a violent drop of their hips. So let's say, for example, guys, I got a DB who's lined up inside shade press, give him a move, I take off to the outside, and let's say my break point's at 10 yards. A lot of receivers, when they get to 10, they will sink their hips and be very slow with their hips. So guys, when you're slow with your hips and a DB is watching my hips, that gives him more time to react. As soon as he sees my hips start to drop, that DB starts to put the brakes on. So the quicker we can drop into the break, the faster I'm going to be able to get out of the break. So a lot of guys will sink into this thing. Don't want to do that. We want to be violent. You want to think there is a string attached to your chin, and at the break point, somebody is pulling that string straight down. You want to try to touch your chin to your knee and maintain a 90-degree position with your legs. And if you can get there fast, you'll be able to get out of the break fast and get more separation. So guys, we're going to give you a great drill to work on that specific skill. Now, I call this drill to work on having violent hips the snap fall drill. So leading into a break, obviously when you have, like, again, let's use that curl example. DB who's inside shade, I give him a move. Leading into the break, we don't want to have any indicators. Yes, if your hips drop slow, DB's going to have more time to react, but we also want to maintain a frequent body language position. What I mean by that is at 5 yards, let's say your break's at 10, at 5 yards and at 10 yards, your body language, your pad level should be the exact same. We want a slight forward lean with long strides, and you want to trust your hips dropping into this break. So not only does this drill work on having a violent hip drop because it's going to prevent you from falling on your face, it also works on having a good body language position leading into the drill. So we're going to go 2 sets of 8 reps on each leg, and we're going to show you how this should look full speed. But what you're going to do is you're going to start with your hands behind your back. I guess you could also start with your hands by your side. Just don't have them in front of you. Let's put it that way. So you're going to fall, and you're going to lead with your chest, and the goal is to get your chest parallel to the turf or parallel to the grass. So you're going to fall, last possible second, you are going to drop this leg down, catch yourself, and bring that chin to my knee and hold that 90-degree position with my leg. And you're going to hold it 1001. Then you're going to pop back up and do it again. That drop, you're catching yourself before you fall flat on your face, works on that violent drop we need at the top of the route. So I'm going to show you how this should look full speed. Now also, if you're a wide receiver watching this and you guys would like a daily on-field and gym workout schedule that you can follow, check out that very first link in the description below for our elite wide receiver training package. It's 8 weeks of on-field workouts for wide receivers for your route running, your releases, your catching ability. We give you the exact sets and reps, and we break down a video example of each drill so you guys are not confused. And we also include an 8-week gym schedule with all the wide receiver specific gym exercises to do, and we also include a 4-week speed development program to help you guys get faster, because that is super important at the wide receiver position. So guys, if you want our elite receiver training package, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, the next mistake that wide receivers will make leading into their breaks that will cause a decrease in separation is changing their stride length before they cut. So let's say, for example, I got to run a 15-yard comeback, right? So all the way off the ball, let's say I got a guy who's inside shade press. Even if he's off in zone coverage, I come off the ball, I want to have long strides, right? Not overly long strides, but I want the frequency of my strides to be the same. I don't want to be that guy that for 12 yards, I'm here, and then right when I get to 12 yards, I start to shorten up my strides and then drop my hips because I'm preparing for the break. If I slow myself down, guys, that DB is going to expect a break, and that is when we lose separation. We have to sell vertical until the last possible second and trust my hips, trust my single cut to get me out of this thing. So what we want to do, guys, have the same strides all the way to the break. Keep the long strides. Do not change anything with your strides so that DB thinks it's a vertical and we can get more space. So now we're going to get into a great drill to work on that skill. Now, I call this drill red light, green light. So honestly, you need probably about 25 to 30 yards of space, honestly, in just a straightaway. So you just need like literally a straightaway strip of 25 to 30 yards. So on this drill, I recommend doing this with a partner, but it's essentially like the drill we all played as kids, red light, green light. When somebody says green light, what do? You run full speed. Then when somebody says red light, what do? You have to stop. That's essentially what this drill works on, but we're using my hip drop to slow me down. So you're gonna start out here and we'll show you how this should look full speed. Set, go, you're gonna take off, long strides, good body language, eyes are gonna be straightforward, and we're just running. For all you know, you're just running to the opposite end of the field as fast as you can. Then your partner is going to yell out drop. When they yell drop, that's when the light switches from green to red. He says drop, you drop your hips to be able to decelerate and slow yourself down, because that is how it has to be at the top of the break, you guys. You should be going green light, you get to 15 yards, red light. I put the brakes on and I'm able to get out. So we don't give that DB any indicators to when I'm braking, and I can get more separation. So I recommend doing about 6 reps of this, 6 reps of that drop call. I'm gonna show you how this should look full speed. Now, the next mistake wide receivers will make with their routes has to do with their press releases, and that's not attacking a DB vertically when he's in press coverage. So let's say, for example, I got a DB who's in press, and let's say he's maybe about a yard away, right? So he's not right up on the line of scrimmage right in my face, but he's about a yard away, right? So that amount of space, he has that amount of space between me and him for a reason. He is trying to cut off my route. So the mistake a lot of receivers will make is they'll try to give this guy a move. Let's say I'm running a fade. Let's just call it a simple route, right? Quarterback's to my left, I'm right here. They'll give a little move inside, but they don't attack vertical. They're more of a lateral release. So let's say I throw the greatest move of all time. DB jumps, but there's still this yard of space between me and him. What can he do? He can recover and cut me off to the angle and then squeeze me to the sideline on that fade route. So what we have to do is we have to close that space. I got to take that line of scrimmage and bring it to him. And we're going to give a great drill to work on the steps of this. But let's say I'm doing a crossover release. I want it to be more vertical. I want to bring the line of scrimmage to him, try to step on his toes. So when I get him to jump, I could get hip to hip with him. My left hip goes past his left hip, so I could get skinny, which essentially means running tight to the DB, and give my quarterback more room for us to fade, or it helps me stack the DB so he can trail me. If I haven't run an inside breaking route or an outside breaking route, I give him a move and go either way. So we have to attack vertical on my releases when that DB gives me some space. He's trying to cut me off. Now we're going to show you a great drill to work on just that. Now this is just a simple crossover drill that you guys can do with 3 cones to work on you pushing vertical with your releases. So this is going to be a double call crossover drill. That's what I call it. So you're going to start out here acting like my quarterback's to the left, my left foot is up, set, go. All you're going to do on the first go call is just work on the steps, and you are going to pause. So set, go, we're going to go 1, 2. Again, trying to attack vertically with my releases, and you're going to hold it. Then you're going to come back to the second start, and you're going to come back to the start. Then on the second go call, set, go, we're going to go 1, 2, same exact steps. We're trying to make it feel the exact same way. That's why we're doing this drill like this. Then as soon as you hit that second step, we're bursting off to make it a more comfortable, game realistic release feel. So I recommend doing this about 6 to 7 reps on each side. I'm going to show you how this should look full speed. Oof.